Welcome to the lecture number 18. So, in the previous lecture, we had seen the statement of superposition theorem. So, superposition theorem states that the algebraic sum of the responses caused by the individual sources is equal to the total response when all sources are acting together. And this theorem is applicable for only linear network. So we had seen in the last session that linearity test. So in order to see a system is obeying the linearity, so we should inspect two properties. One is homogeneity property, another is additivity property. Homogeneity and additivity property. And we had seen both together how to test the linearity of a particular system as homogeneity and additivity together. And also we discussed one problem on the especially homogeneity. So just you can see that same problem in different way. If I have a simple source here, 4-volt source, and this part of the network which I would like to highlight here, see this part of the network consists only resistors. This is a resistive network. So you can observe that this will qualify the nature of the linear system. So I can call this as a linear network. Linear network. Where so I might be interested in finding 2 ohms current, 4 ohms current and another 4 ohms current which is I1, I2, I3. So this I1, I2, I3 we call as a response and this 4 volts we call as a excitation or input. Whereas I1, I2, I3 can also be called as a output. Now according to homogeneity principle, if this network is a linear network, if I will increase the input by certain constant, let us say the constant is 4 times. If I'll increase the input by 4 times, that means instead of 4 volts, if I'll give 16 volts as an input, what will be the corresponding output for this linear network is that it will be multiplied by same amount of the constant for each of the response. Previously current was I1, so 4 into I1 is now presently current as because input is multiplied by a constant of 4. In the same way here also 4 into I2 and here also 4 into I3. So remember that all linear network will obey this homogeneity principle. If any constant is multiplied in the input, same amount of the constant multiplication is applicable in all its corresponding outputs. And let us see based on this one simple problem. So here just I had considered a simple linear network with an excitation of 10 volts and the responses here is 4 amperes and 2 amperes. And in between that there may be a linear network as like this, just this entire dotted box, instead of taking all these resistors, just I am simply considering as a linear network. So now see here that in the next means based on this network history, I would like to determine what will be the current I1 and I2. That is what our question. See that? So for the same linear network, I given an input of 40 volts, but previously it is 10 volts. So it is multiplying factor of 4. So what I'll get is that these currents also will be multiplied in the same proportion. So previous current is 4 amperes into now the multiplying factor is 4. So this gives the 16 amperes. And previous current at the I2 location is 2 amperes. So multiplying factor is 4. So I'll get again 8 so amperes. So in this way, by utilizing this homogeneity principle, we can find the unknown currents I1, I2 if some inputs are given in this manner. So let us take one more problem which is very interesting. So here I have a linear network where the linear network has two inputs. One input is V1, other input is V2. The output is current, which we need to determine. And its corresponding table is given in this manner. See that when V1 is 2 volts, V2 is 0. That means only V1 is connected. How much is the current is 0.5 amperes. When V1 is 0, when V2 is 5 volts, so this current is 1 ampere. Now the question is that we would like to find the current I if V1 and V2 both are taking place. But V1, V2 is not same as like previous 2 volts and 5 volts. It is a different volts. Now for which, so I will take the help of this table in this way. So V1 is equal to 10, which can be written as like 5 times of the 2. That means, so if I multiply previous response, this one, this row 1. So when I will multiply this 5, so I will be getting 10 volts. V1 has a 10 volts. So can I say its response also going to be multiplied? This is, let us say, I of 1, which is the current due to V1 voltage source alone, which is equal to 0.5 into 5. Means the response is multiplied by same amount of the constant. When 2 volts is there, 0.5 amperes. When, so 2 into 5 multiplying factor, so now its corresponding output also will be multiplied by same amount of the constant. So in this way we can get this I of 1, so which is, so 2.5 amperes. That is one case. And second case also you would like to see here. So when V1 is equal to 0 and V2 is minus 5 volts. And of course in the previous case this V2 is 0 here. V2 is 0. For this case, for V2 is equal to minus 5 volts, let us see what will be the response. When V2 is equal to 5, how much is the response? That response is equal to 1 ampere. Now if I will multiply this corresponding 5 volts by minus 1, its response also going to be multiplied by minus 1. So minus 1 into this one, which is equal to minus 1 ampere. Now according to superposition principle, what it says is that when V1 and V2 are acting or acting together or simultaneously, the response is sum of the responses caused by individual sources. Sum of the responses caused by individual sources. So how much is that? So the response is sum of the responses when each of the source is acting alone. So which is equal to I of 1 plus I of 2, which gives us 2.5. So minus 1 is equal to 1.5 amperes. So this is what the response when V1 and V2 of 10 volts and minus 5 volts are acting together. So we can get in this way by using superposition principle. So for this linear network, what will be the response? Okay. So now let us take one more interesting problem, which is a conventional kind of thing. And here, so just let me take somewhere this Ix. Ix is, let me choose somewhere as like this. Right. So now try to identify what are the sources in the given circuit, which are usually inputs. So if you observe here, you have 4 ampere current source, and here you have 20 volts voltage source, and also one more important thing is there, which is dependent voltage source, current dependent voltage source. So once we see as sources, so we need to keep these points in our mind. That is, if there is any voltage source, voltage sources are replaced by a short circuit. while applying the superposition principle. Similarly, if we have any current source, current sources are replaced by open circuit. But if we have any dependent sources, dependent sources, dependent sources. So don't make any changes in the dependent sources. Keep as it is. Keep as it is. So don't replace the dependent sources by open circuit or short circuit. Keep as it is. Now let us take step by step. So what do we need is Ix. What do we need is Ix. That is what the output here, output which I want to determine is Ix. And what are the inputs is? Inputs are only independent sources. Inputs, how many inputs are there? One is 4 ampere current source and another is 20 volts voltage source. These two are only treated as a inputs, whereas the dependent sources must be kept as it is. There is no change in that dependent sources. So now in this point of view, just you can recap our previous lecture. Here how many inputs are there? X1 is one input, X2 is another input. How many output? One output which is equal to Y. Output is Y. Now, so can I make in this way, when X1 is equal to some value, let us say 4 amperes, what will be its corresponding output? Output I can call Y1. So when only X2 is there, which is a 20 volts voltage source, what will be its output? Y2. Where Y1 I can say Ix of 1, whereas Y2 I can say Ix of 2. So now in this way we can see only single source acting in this circuit, thereby it produce some output. That output let me call as Ix of 1. So when this second source is acting, its output is Ix of 2. When both sources are acting together, X1 and X2, X1 and X2, instead of plus I will say X1 and X2. What will be its output? Y. How much is Y? Y is equal to Ix of 1 plus Ix of 2. This is according to superposition principle. So the algebraic sum of the responses caused by individual sources, this is caused by X1, this is caused by X2, is equal to the total response when all sources are acting together. That is what the superposition theorem statement. Now we would like to execute these statements that, so when only X1 is there, how much is Ix1? For which, let me take the diagram and try to make the circuit diagram corresponding to case 1 in this way. So case 1, so let me make this as case 1. So only X1 is there. This is what the X1 input. I want to make this input to be as a 0. What is the kind of input is this? Voltage source. If there is any voltage source, what we need to do? We need to replace by short circuit. So let us replace this with a short circuit in this way. Now once we replace this with a short circuit, what will be the corresponding output when only X1 is there? This is what the case 1. The output is Y1, which I can write Ix of suffix 1. Here also Ix of suffix 1. Why? Because this is a dependent source. So do not make any changes in the dependent source, keep as it is. Okay. So now you can utilize any method which you know very well. So to solve what is Ix1. So you can go with the mesh analysis or nodal analysis, whatever it is. So let me go with the mesh analysis here. So for which just I will try to put the some meshes, indicate the meshes. Let me start here. This is one mesh. So this is the second mesh. This is third mesh. So let me call the currents as I1, I2, I3 mesh currents. See, in superposition theorem we are using mesh analysis again to get various currents. So now let us write the see, this is one of the advantage of having a current source in this mesh. So I can write I1 directly as 4 amperes. So these all are in clockwise. So this also in clockwise in this way, and this also in clockwise. All the currents will be indicated in clockwise. So now I already got I1. Next, what about mesh 2? So mesh 2 KVL equation, Kirchhoff voltage law equation. What I will get? So let me write directly 2 into I2. So this is a voltage, so minus 5ix1. Next is 1 into I2 minus I3. Next is 3 into I2 minus I1. I1 means 4, so directly I am writing 4 is equal to 0. So let us keep as of now as it is. Later I will come back and simplify this. So next is mesh 3 KVL equation. Let us see what will be the KVL equation for mesh 3. So what we get? 1 into I3 minus I2 plus 5ix of 1 plus 4 into I3 plus 5 into I3 minus I1. I1 is 4, so directly I am writing this. Now try to observe in both equations Ix of 1 is there. Let us try to eliminate Ix of 1. So in this way, or you can keep even Ix of 1 also, so that I2, I3 and Ix of 1. 3 unknowns and 3 equations means we need one more equation. So what is that is, I can write Ix in this way. Ix of 1 is equal to current through the 5 ohm. How can I express current through 5 ohm? Is I1 minus I3. I1 minus I3. But I1 is known, so I can say this as 4 minus I3 is what? Ix of 1. This is the third equation. So let us put all these things in proper format. So then solve these three equations. So you'll get. So if we simplify these equations, so we can segregate Ix of 1, I2 and I3 coefficients separately, and it results to be equation 1, 2, 3 in this way. And once we solve these three equations, so we will get our required value Ix of 1, which is equal to 52 by 17. These are not required as of now, but as a part of the solution we got these I2 and I3 also. So this is what the case 1 corresponding output. So this is Ix of 1. So because of the application of 4 amperes. Now in the same way what we do is that in case 2, so let me take this diagram, and so let me make here case 2 corresponding thing. What is case 2 is the second input x2. What is the second input x2 is 20 volts. When 20 volts is connected, what will be the output? Y2. Y2 I can assume current is the output, but as because it is corresponding to 2, I'll use Y Ix of 2 as the response. Now I want to make these changes, for which I want to make x1 to be 0 here. What is x1 here? Current source. So how can we make the current source 0? By replacing it with open circuit. Let me remove this completely. That is what the open circuit. Once we remove it, it is the open circuit equivalent. Now what shall I do additionally? So this Ix will become now Ix of 2, and here also Ix of 2. Just as a notation I am using in this way. If you feel more suffixes here, you can consider Ix double dash like this also, or some other name like simply some I2. But in mesh analysis we will be using I1, I2, so that may be coinciding with this. So instead of that I will be choosing this notation. You can choose this kind of notation also, no issue. So now let us proceed again with some any method, whichever you want, whichever you are comfortable, choose that method. and I am going with again mesh analysis. So let me choose this is mesh 1, this is mesh 2, and let me indicate the currents in these meshes in clockwise as like this through each of the element upward, and here clockwise downward, then clockwise upward like this. Now only two meshes are there. Because of this current source got made 0, so there is no other element this side, so no loop is formed, closed path is not existing here. Now what we do, just simply go with the generalized thing like Kirchhoff voltage law for mesh 1. So let me call this as I1 current, this as I2 current. So for mesh 1, what I'll get is, let me write quickly, 2I1, so plus 5Ix2 or Ix double dash, it's your wish. So 1 into I1 minus I2, so plus 3 into I1 is equal to 0. So let me simplify a little bit this one. So and or I will simplify after the second equation, KVL for mesh 2. What I will get here, KVL for mesh 2 is, so 1 into I2 minus I1 plus 5 into Ix of 2, next is plus 4 into I2 minus 20 plus 5 into I2 is equal to 0. Now, because the current source we made it 0, because of this we got some interesting fact here that, so we are getting I2 is equal to Ix. What is this 5 ohms branch current? Ix. What is the current passing through this 5 ohms? As per our assumption, I2. But I2 direction is opposite to Ix, so I will be taking this as minus. So now you can do a simple thing, that you can eliminate I2 wherever I2 is there. So or if you feel like why I need to substitute again and make such a simplification, you can carry forward this equation as it is. I'll tell you how. So just let me simplify this first. How many I1s are there? 2 and 1 3 and 3. 6 I1. Next I2 is not there. I2 also there. So how many I2s? Minus I2. So minus I2. So what else is there? Ix2 is there. This is 5 Ix of 2. Is there any constant existing? No. So let me make this as 0. So did I consider properly? Let me check. 2 plus 1, 3 and 3, 6 and minus I2 and 5 Ix2. In the same way, let me call this as equation number 1. In the same way, let us simplify this. How many I1s are there? Only 1. So minus I1. How many I2s are there? 1 and 4. So 5 and 5, 10 I2s. Next, is there any Ix? I3 is not there. In place of that, Ix is there. So plus 5 Ix2. In both cases, plus no. So I hope here it should be minus. See here. This is minus. This is also minus. Now this is plus. Okay. So is that fine? Yeah. So clockwise plus Ix2 voltage. Next. So I1, I2 and Ix2. Then is there any constants? Yes, 20. So that is equal to 20, equation number 2. And you can rearrange this equation also. So I1 coefficient is 0 plus I2 coefficient is 1. So plus Ix2 is equal to 0. This is equation number 3. Just solve these three equations using calculator. Solve 1, 2 and 3. So what we get, just put over here all those things. I1, I2, Ix of 2. Right. So if you solve these three equations, we will get these values as I1, I2 and Ix of 2. So here Ix of 2 is what my required response. Now according to according to superposition principle, superposition superposition theorem, superposition theorem, what can we say? So Ix is equal to Ix of 1 plus Ix of 2. How much is Ix of 1? Ix of 1 is case 1, 52 by 17, 52 by 17 minus, so Ix of 2 is minus 60 by 17. So how much we will get this as minus 8 by 17 amperes. So this is what, according to the superposition principle, the value of the current Ix. So in this way you can solve the given response, so as per the given things. Thank you.